Sleep at the wheel here. We will call to order the Kern Council of Governments Transportation Planning Policy Committee, and we'll start with Pledge of Allegiance. Salute, pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Ione, Calderon, Carr,
Here.
Couch,
Here.
Espinoza, Gunn.
Here via the phone.
Thank you. Gorman.
Here.
Thank you. Hawkins.
Here.
Morse. Knorr. Parlier. Para.
I'm here.
Reyna.
Here.
Bob Smith.
I'm here.
Phil Smith.
Here.
Solario Ruiz.
Here.
And Warney.
Here.
Thank you.
Public comments. This portion of the meeting is reserved for persons to address the committee on any matter not on this agenda but under the jurisdiction of the committee. Committee members may respond briefly to statements made or questions posed. They may ask a question for clarification, make a referral to staff for factual information, or request staff to report back to the committee at a later meeting. Speakers are limited to 2 minutes. Please state your name and address for the record prior to making a presentation. Are there any public comments online? Any public comments here? Seeing none, we have a presentation by Mr. Godby.
Brian, are you there?
Yeah, just clicking around here. There we go. Hi, thank you very much. I'm pleased to be here for another year to present the data from the survey we've just conducted. So let me start by sharing my screen. So everybody should be able to see that now. Take that as yes. Okay, so let's get started. So similar to previous years, this is a survey that, again, there we go. This is a survey conducted by telephone and online interviewing. And what that means is that we made phone calls to cell phones and landlines. And then we also did text invitations as well. And that's the source of the online component. The online component, of course, is the largest component in the survey because that's just the world we live in. The survey was 25 minutes long. We completed 1,400 interviews, which was a little above our goal, but that improves the margin of error. You can see the breakdown by cell, landline, or text. And then, of course, that gives us a margin of error, which is always important to understand that at plus or minus 2.62% for the overall data. And there we go. So jumping into the key findings then, the first question, as has been the case for many years, and you get to see all of the data here. We won't go through all of the years for all of the data because it's a lot of information, but it's a good quick comparison. So satisfaction with the quality of life in the 2025 survey When you add the very satisfied and somewhat satisfied together, it's 57.8. That's down a little bit from the previous year where it was 66.3. It's up from 2023 where it was 56. And you can see it's gone up and down over the last 6 years, probably a lot due to the pandemic. And if we look back at the next few years, you'll see it's actually a little higher when we're in the pre-pandemic world. So, lots of people had lots of concerns, obviously, on all counts. And this data, again, goes back to 2008 when we started doing this. And you can see that the high water mark really was in the 2016 area, but the data from 2017 to 2012 is where we were in the 80s in terms of quality of life. Obviously, that's where we'd like to get back to, but we are lower at this point. The next question asked people what they thought the quality of life would be in the future. And this question we asked: much better, somewhat better, about the same, somewhat worse, much worse. When you add the first two together, the much better and somewhat better, you see we're at basically 30% think the quality of life is going to get better. A little bit lower than it was last year, but it's not statistically significant when we think back to that margin of error that we talked about at the outset. And you can see it has bounced around up and down over the last 6 years. As we go further back in time, we can see this is actually not the high water mark, but 2016 is very close to it within the margin of error. And actually the high water mark was in 2012. The next set of questions was open-ended. So we basically said, what do you like best about your city or town? And let them answer. And then they're coded into similar categories so we can understand what their responses were. At the top of this list, you see small town atmosphere at 40%, basically in round numbers, cost of living at 34%, sense of community at 31%, location at 30%, and then we get into the 20s, natural resources, cost of housing, cultural diversity, and farming and agriculture. And the first one, small town atmosphere, has been about the same statistically speaking. Cost of living, that has gone down. Obviously, the difficulties with the economy over the last few years have certainly had their impact. Sense of community has actually gone up a little bit. Location is about the same over the last few years, and natural resources has gone up. Cost of housing, of course, has that as a positive, has gone down for all the obvious reasons. In California, cultural diversity, about the same, up a little bit, but not really statistically significant. And then farming and agriculture, again, about the same statistically. The next slide shows just the additional responses from this particular question, but now we're starting to get into the teens and even below that. And then the next question was the other side of the coin, where we asked, what do you like least about your town? And at the top of that list was homelessness. And that's, as you can see, been the top of the list for the last several years, as it has elsewhere in California at the same time. You can see it's bounced around a little bit, but it is statistically higher this year than it was in last year's survey. The next thing they liked least about their town was the crime rate, and that too has gone up, and that is a statistically significant increase. The concern about air quality has gone up. That's statistically significant. Gang violence, just barely statistically significant, but an increase. Job opportunities has gone up significantly, or the lack thereof, because this is the thing they like least. Housing affordability has gone up significantly, and the cost of living has gone up, as has the lack of community resources like hospitals and social services. All of those things going up, are not good, because this is what they like least about their city or town. So a little bit of concern there. The next slide just shows the remainder of the list. These are in the low 20s and then quickly into the teens and low teens below that. when we asked people, what was essentially a long list of what they thought the most important issues were over the next 20 years, we ranked them with a scale that was extremely important to not at all or not important, and that's 4 to 0 in terms of our ranking. And you can see that in the parentheticals, the actual rankings for each of these. But the thing that they thought was going to be the most important over the next 20 years was preserving water supply, then improving the quality of public education, then improving crime prevention, gang prevention programs, maintaining streets and roads, improving water quality, improving fire and emergency medical services, improving local health care and social services at the bottom of the list. Now, this was a much longer list that we tested, but those are the top 7 items in this year's survey. The next question switched gears a little bit and got more specifically into transportation, and we started with mode choice. So this is what's the primary type of transportation used to get to work, and drive alone is at the top of that list at just under 79% in round numbers. It's a little bit higher than it was last year, which was just a little bit higher than the previous year. Where in 23 and 22, it bounced around a little bit, and it was the lowest in 21, which was obviously during the pandemic. But it was still 68% were driving alone. The next group was retired in this survey, just under 14%, then carpool and vanpool, walking, and now we're into single digits, telecommute, Uber and Lyft, and you'll see more about telecommuting in a moment. But these are the people that said it's their primary way to get to work. Uber, Lyft, traditional express shuttle bus service, and then we're into a variety of other items that are in the low single digits. So even with the margin of error, these could be 0. The next question was something new this year, and we asked people to describe their work schedule. And what they told us, 64% work a 5-day work week, so one assumes that's a 5/8 schedule. Full-time at 4 days, a 4/10 schedule was about 8%. A flex schedule was about 7%. Part-time is 12%, and then 10% don't know or didn't give us an answer. We also asked people how many miles they commute each week. So these are weekly numbers, not daily numbers. And the largest group of 58% in round numbers were in 0 to 100 miles. So if you assume they were all commuting 100 miles, which because this is a range, we don't know that, but that would be 20 miles a day. If you pick the midpoint, which I suspect is a little low, it would be 10 miles a day. So they're probably in the high teens in terms of their daily commute. The next group was 100 to 200 miles a week, and that was 9%. Then 200 to 300 was 6%. And then we get into low single digits for all of the longer commutes. There are some people that, are commuting 500 miles a week or more, but that's only 3%. And then there are 20% that didn't know. The next question asked people who didn't say they telecommuted or were retired in that mode choice question earlier. We asked them again, do you telecommute or work from home? And we got some more people that now are saying they do. And that's 17% in this question of this group in 25. It was 18.5 last year and 19% in 23. Now, what we've done is basically kind of forced people to identify their telecommuting behavior a little more accurately. And so we use a combination of question 6 and that question we just asked, which brings us up to about 20% of the population. And so we asked them some additional questions. How many days a week do you commute? You can see that broken down here. The colors correspond with the legend. So 10% in round numbers are 1 day a week, 16% are 2 days, 21 are 3 days, 12% are 4 days, and 23% are 5 days. Then there's some smaller numbers after that. But if you were to add the 3 to 5 days of telecommuting together, That's about 56% of the telecommuters are somewhere between 3 and 5 days. So that's a majority of the group. You can see also, if you look at the light blue color, which is our 5-day-a-week group, it was 23% again this year. It was higher, 32% last year, and even higher before that in 23, where it was the high water mark of 37% in round numbers. The next question was, what's the most important reason to telecommute? Again, this is the same group of people that we identified in the last question. And at the top of this list is productivity. More productive, less wasted time. Of those telecommuters, that's about 30% of the telecommuters, not 30% of the total, but 30% of the telecommuters. Next is saving money at 17%. Next is driving less, fewer miles on their car at 11%. And then saving time is 11% as well. And then company requires some working from home is another 11%, and then we're into single digits. So this time again, this year, more productive is certainly the top reason for telecommuters to indicate that's why they do it. The next question is not asked of the telecommuters, but sort of the non-telecommuters. So this is, in this case, we're asking those people who don't telecommute how many days they could. And again, as we read across the top in this survey, where 1 day was about 2%, 2 days is 3%, 3 days it rounds up to 3%, 4 days is 1%, 5 days is 9%. So, it's all single digits. So there aren't many people who could, but there's still, 15 or so percent that are in the 1 to 5 day range. And if you look at, again, the 5-day group over time, it's 9% this time. It was 13% last year and 11% the year before. The next question was asked again of the non-telecommuters, and it was, what's the most important reason to start telecommuting or working from home? And the top of this list is different than what we saw previously when we talked to the telecommuters. 15% of the non-telecommuters say saving money is the top reason, then driving less, fewer miles on the car at 12%, and then 12% again in round numbers, saving gas. The more productive, less wasted time, which was the top reason for the telecommuters, is only 8% for the non-telecommuters. And we asked also back to the telecommuters, again, when they started telecommuting, and the vast majority are within the last 5 years, so that's 64% of the telecommuters. There's about 14% that telecommuted previous to that in the 5 to 10 year range, and then 11% that were more than 10 years ago when they started telecommuting. The next question, again, focused on the telecommuters, and we asked them how many miles have they decreased their driving behavior as a result of telecommuting, and 40% in round numbers decreased it between 1 and 5,000 miles, and 23% decreased it between more than 5,000 miles. If you add the two of those together, that's about 63% of the telecommuters say that they decrease their annual mileage at different levels. The other groups are smaller. There's 12% that say it's about the same. 3% say one increased 1 to 5,000 miles, and 4% increased over 5,000 miles. The next question was not a new one. It was one we've asked several times, and this is a straightforward, how do you rate the traffic flow in your town? And really, there's not a whole lot of difference. When you add the excellent and goods together, it was 36% in round numbers. This year, it was 37%. Previously, it was 35% in 23, 35 or 37% in 22, and again 37% in 21. Adding the excellent and good together in round numbers. So you see there's not a lot of variation here in terms of the traffic flow. And this continues the chart the rest of the way down. The traffic flow was best in 2017, again, adding those top two categories together. Next question asked everybody if they think that there's been an increase in commercial truck traffic over the last 3 years. And in this survey, 58% said that they had in round numbers. In 2024, it was 52%. That's just a bit outside of the statistically significant range. So it is an increase, but not a gigantic one. The follow-up question was, why do they think there's been an increase? Now, this was just asked of those people who said there was. Respondents said construction on roads and freeways was at the top of the list. That was 24%. Additional demand and delivery, post-COVID delivery behavior at 20%. Amazon fulfillment distribution centers at 19%. Freeway availability at 17, population growth 13, and more new businesses at 11. Then we get into single-digit numbers at the bottom of the chart. The next question sort of posed two alternatives, and you can see those at the bottom of the chart. And it was, what do you think the impact of the new warehouse facilities built in the last 3 years has been? The first option was cause more commercial truck traffic and are not worth the extra traffic, safety hazards, and cost of additional road repairs. The second option was created new construction and distribution jobs and increased sales and property tax revenues in Kern County and are a benefit to the county. So the first one is sort of a net loss, and the second one is a net benefit. So only 12% said it was a net negative, whereas 41% said the warehouse facilities in the last 3 years are a net positive. There's also 35% that had mixed opinions and 12% that didn't know. Statistically, it's a little lower in terms of the net benefit. It's also a little bit lower in terms of the net negative than it was in 2024. The next question was, should commercial trucks pay a higher vehicle registration fee to offset the road repair costs? And in this survey, 52% said yes versus 29% saying no, 20% didn't know. In 2024, it was 53% in round numbers saying yes. It's not a statistically significant difference, but it is numerically a little bit lower. Okay, the next question switched gears a little bit away from trucks, but dealt with electric cars, EVs, and their registration fees. Again, we pose this as two alternatives. The first one is electric vehicles should receive a discount registration fee in order to provide car buyers with more incentive to purchase an EV. The second one is electric vehicles should pay a higher registration fee to offset the gas taxes that they don't pay and help repair our roads. And so you see that 19 or 20% in round numbers, rounding up again, said that EVs should receive a discounted fee. 46% said that they should pay higher fees to offset the gas tax. And that was a little bit higher in terms of the pay a higher fee to offset the gas tax this year than it was in 2024. The discounted fee is about the same statistically. It's a little lower, but it's not a statistically significant difference. The next question was asked of those people that would what their preference was for replacing the gas tax. And so this is the people who said that there should be a discount. And a higher tax on oil and gas was their top choice. So basically that's EV owners saying somebody else should pay the cost at almost 19%. Commuting to companies and mileage-based should be the way the roads are paid for, the repairs. shouldn't pay more and doesn't need to be charged at this time was about 15%. Again, this is essentially the people who say that EVs shouldn't have a higher registration fee. Tax the wealthy, large companies, 13%, and then we're down into single digits from there. The next question was really a follow-up to that original mode choice question, where we asked those people who said that they drive alone in that survey, in that question, what would be their most likely alternative to driving alone? And 63% said still driving alone. So that's a large group of that large group that wouldn't change their behavior. The second highest was 23% saying that they could switch to a carpool or a vanpool. Then 22% said a bike or electric bike. Traditional bus service was 21. Electric vehicle was 20. Walking was 18. And moving to the next page, shuttle service of some sort was 17. Uber and Lyft was 14. And then telecommute was 12%. Again, we know that there are some people that their primary mode choice was drive alone, but they do actually telecommute, so they're reflected in that response. And that goes on down into the single digits from there. The next question then switched gears from transportation issues to housing issues, and we first asked them what kind of housing do you currently have, and the choices were single family home, large or small yard, single family home, large yard, townhome or condominium, apartment or mixed use, or don't know. And at the top of the list, in largest percentage is the second category, the orange bars there. 43% say that they have a single family home with a large yard. 37% in round numbers have a single family home with a small yard. And from there we get into small numbers. Townhouse or condominium was 4%. You can see how this has changed, not much over the years for all of these. And then we get into the mixed use projects at less than 1%, an apartment at 14%, and don't know at a little less than 2%. The next question asked everybody again, if you could buy something new, what would you prefer? And this gets a little more complicated because all of these different preferences were asked of everybody. But if you look at the definitely yes, 32% of the entire population said they would prefer a single family home with a small yard. 41% said that they would probably prefer a single family home with a small yard. Then when we get to single family home with a large yard, that jumps up quite a bit, and the definitely yes is 54%, and 23% are saying that they would probably prefer that. But you can see there is certainly a big jump, particularly in the definitely yes category for the large yard. As we move down the options, the next one is the townhome or condominium. Just 12% said that they would prefer that. Definitely yes. 32% said probably yes. And no, you see, is now jumping up. The building with offices, stores, condominiums, and mixed use is again 11% with a 25% probably yes. And again, large numbers of no. When we look at the apartments, it's 15% said definitely yes. They'd consider an apartment, and 19% probably yes. A little bit lower in the no, but it's still well over a simple majority. The next chart compares these two questions. So across the top is what do you own currently? A single family home with a large yard, a single family home with a small yard, condo, etc. And then we cross-tab it by their preferences. So for those people that currently live in a single family home with a small yard, 84% said that they would continue to prefer a single family home with a small yard. For those people that live in a single family home with a large yard, 85% in round numbers prefer, again, the same option. having a large yard. As when we look at those people that are currently living in a townhouse or condominium, 91% prefer a single family home with a small yard, 92% with a large yard, and 93% would stay with a townhome or condominium. The next question is just a demographic, so we could ask the following questions, and is, do you own or rent your home? And as you can see here, 36% say they rent it, 55% say that they own it. That matches roughly with the census data, so that's what we would expect. It's varied a little bit over time, but it's all within the margin of error for both surveys. So the follow-up questions that we really ask that own rent question here is, first, would you consider living in a home that shares a lot with another house or living in a duplex? And in 2025, 35% said yes, they would consider that shared lot or duplex. 57% said no. In 24, it was 27% yes, so the yes is up and the no is down. It was 62%, and that was the high water mark for the no in this question. In 23, we were at 28% saying yes, and in 22, that was 35%, almost statistically identical to where it is now. The next question was asked of just those people that own their home, which is the reason for the position of the own rent question. And it was, would you consider building a second dwelling unit or converting your home to a duplex? And again, of those homeowners, 36% said yes, they would consider it. 41% said no. A very small percent, just under 2%, said they already have a second dwelling or duplex. And then 17% said they don't have the space basically available on their property, so it didn't apply to them. And then the remainder, 4%, was don't know. And you can see that the yes is actually up a little bit from 24, 23, and 22, where we were in the high 20s, and now we're in the mid 30s. So that's a significant increase. It's not a huge increase, but it is statistically of note. And that concludes the survey data that we have to show you this evening. I'm certainly happy to answer any questions you might have. There, of course, also is a very long report which has a lot of detailed cross-tabulations. So gender, age, ethnicity, region, a whole long list of data. The stack of crosstabs is 2 inches tall. So there's a lot of detail in there.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Could you go back to the slide that showed things we like?
Sure.
It's towards the beginning.
Yeah.
Found interesting the uptick in sense of community and natural resources.
Yeah, sense of community was 31% in this survey. It was 27 last year. So statistically speaking, that's not a significant difference between this year and last year.
It has a long-term trend going up, though, huh?
Yeah, it's a trend that's going up. So if you were to compare this year's 31% with the 23, where we were 22.5, that is a significant difference. So, I mean, I'm skipping over a year, but it is a trend up for sure, yes. And the other one you were interested was natural resources. That's 29%. And that is a significant difference from the 22% that it was the year before. It bounced around a little bit in the 23, but 23 was higher than 24, 22, and 21. So it has been trending up as well.
I wonder if that has to do with the water in the river, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, yeah, different reasons, and the, people got outside more after COVID, maybe, or different things, but a couple things that seem to be trending positive as opposed to the general trend of things going negative.
Yeah.
I think I ask you this every year, in general, you do this in a lot of other places. We look similar. What's different about us?
I think when we're looking at this question particularly, I think the small town atmosphere is probably more typical of Kern County because there are small towns. Obviously, the Bay Area doesn't really have that. I think where we look at things like the cost of living and the cost of housing, which we saw people in this survey saying it used to be a good thing in my town, but it's less important now or less positive now. And then when we looked at the negatives, we saw the opposite side of that coin. Homelessness is something we're seeing at the top of every city's list and every county's list that we do the survey in. Crime is probably about the norm. Gang violence as well. Job opportunities, that varies depending on, how close you are to the urban cores. But I think it's important to note that the housing affordability being something that people don't like as much about their town. I mean, housing and cost of living has been an issue everywhere for the last 5 years. And so whether you're looking at it as an upside or downside, it's been going the same direction everywhere.
The amount of people that say they walk seemed like it was a long-term trend up substantially too, and that seemed...
Yeah, it certainly is going up. It's statistically, we're in the single digits, so it's hard to say there's a difference between 4.7 and 7.1. But certainly 7.1 versus 1.8 is a significant difference because it's about a 5% in round numbers difference that you need to see for it to be statistically significant, and that would be.
Anybody else have any comments, questions?
I have one over here.
Yes.
Just, I was encouraged by the bus number going up, and I think it's important for GET to try and capture that percentage of folks that are maybe, thinking about taking the bus. And I think by the route changes that we're making and the increased nighttime service that we're having, that hopefully we can tap into some of that. I know right before that was the e-bike. But I missed what the trend was on that.
So there are two ways. Yeah, there's two ways of looking at it. There's first, what's the primary mode choice, which is what you see here. So drive alone at the top, then carpool, vanpool, walk, telecommute, and then Uber, Lyft, and bus services. E-bike is on the next, but the other one that we need to jump to is, I think, what tells you about the upside or the possible opportunities. And let me just find that one.
Right, I think that was the one that what they would consider maybe doing other than
right.
Single.
Yeah, so here we asked those single car drivers what would their alternative be, and as you were mentioning, traditional bus service is 21% as a potential alternative. So the question becomes, how do you convince those people to do that? But there is some willingness. Bike and e-bike was slightly higher than traditional bus service at 22%, but statistically they're about the same. And EV and carpool, vanpool, all four of those are really tied. So those are the alternatives to the traditional drivers, for the traditional drivers.
The 0 to 100 miles per week, 57%. Is that typical in other communities or high, low?
Yeah, I can't really answer that. This is a new question for us and one that your staff really wanted to investigate. So as we continue to do the survey over years, we'll start to find out where that is. I mean, it seems like a big number to me, but remember that's 64% or 63%, sorry, of telecommuters who are saying it's decreased their behavior. It's not everybody saying
No,
that.
I was asking about the how much weekly do you drive? It was 0 to 100 miles per week was 57%.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's Am I going the right way? Or no, I'm going the wrong way. No, sorry. Going the wrong way.
I mean, that kind of makes sense. You know, you got
There it is. Yeah, here it is.
less than a 10-mile commute in Bakersfield. It kind of makes sense. If you know, your one-way trip's less than 10 miles and your 20 miles times 5 is 100 miles a week. So,
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So the high end, this is 20 miles. Obviously, if you take the midpoint, it would be 10 miles, and it's 58% in round numbers. For people who live in Bakersfield, and again, we have crosstabs by region, so you can look at that driving behavior. If for people who live in Bakersfield, it's probably, you know, middle of that 100-mile range. For people who don't live in Bakersfield, it's probably they're the people that are commuting more, obviously.
right. Okay. Thank you. Always interesting to me. Any other questions?
Depends where you live
Yeah.
and where you gotta go. $3,500 a month. So you're going to where the work is. This data is. I'm sorry. A lot of this data depends on where you live and where you have to go to work, and there's
Oh, yeah, that's
you have
certainly
more
true.
options in a metro area for diversifying your
Right.
what your source of transportation is going to be. Yeah.
One question: would we have access to this, or the community? And yeah, oh, awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, you guys put it up on the website. Right?
Yeah, all the community surveys are up on our website. The final report for this one is not up yet, but it will probably be up tomorrow or next week.
Very good. Moving on. Consent agenda opportunity for public comment. All items on the consent agenda are considered to be routine and non-controversial by Kern COG staff and will be approved by one motion if no member of the council or public wishes to comment or ask questions. If comment or discussion is desired, the item will be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered in the listed sequence with an opportunity for any member of the public to address the council concerning the item before action is taken. Anybody want to pull off an item from the consent agenda? Did I hear? No? Any member of the public? No? Can I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Roll call vote, please.
Carr, Couch,
Yes.
Gorman,
Yes.
Hawkins,
Yes.
Para,
Yes.
Reyna,
Yes.
Bob Smith,
Yes.
Phil Smith,
Yes.
Solorio Ruiz.
Yes.
And Warney.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Caltrans report, District 6 couldn't get here, stuck on the highway. So we'll hear
That
from
is correct.
If
My
you,
apologies. This is Shane Gunn. I'm the acting deputy district director. I've taken over from Michael Navarro and because of his new role as the district director for 6. My apologies that we were not able to be there in person. Caleb Brock and I are currently about 8 feet away from the number 3 lane on the 99, about 16 miles away from you folks. Hopefully you can hear me okay.
Yes.
Great. I'll try to make my update brief because there's a lot of background noise.
We
One
hear
of the
you.
things I do want to mention is the Caltrans Workers Memorial and Worker Safety. Since 1921, there's been 194 Caltrans employees that have been killed on the job. You know, one of the biggest hazards faced by workers are inattentive and distracted motorists. So each year, Caltrans takes the time to honor our fallen employees, both at the statewide and the local level, at a workers' memorial. The statewide memorial was held today up in Sacramento. And I wanted to extend an invitation to our partners in Kern County to join us for the local District 6 memorial this year. That'll be April 22nd at 10:30 a.m. at the Fresno District office. That's at 1352 West Olive. Going into some project updates, I want to talk briefly about two Clean California projects. The State Route 204 Road Diet Project, construction on that is complete. It's pending a hazardous waste cleanup at one location, and Caltrans is planning on doing a ribbon cutting ceremony late spring or early summer of this year. Another update on the McFarland and Delano project. This is the art installation. The contractor and the artists have come to an agreement to replace some damaged mosaics, so they're currently working on plan establishment in the area. Moving on to some notice of funding opportunities. Excuse me. The Safe Streets for All grant program from the U.S. DOT. The notice of funding opportunity is now live. Applications are being accepted through June 26th. I'd like to encourage you to review the notice of funding opportunity, as some items have changed since previous cycles to reflect the new administration's priorities. If required, we would be happy to provide issue a letter of support at the district level. And if you're interested in doing that, please reach out to me. I can guide you on how to do that. An update on the State Route 99 Comprehensive Multimodal Corridor Plan, or CMCP. Thank you all for your involvement. As a lot of you know, there was a presentation on this at the San Joaquin Valley Regional Policy Conference last week. But a quick update on that is that we're expecting the draft to come out at the end of this month, the end of April, with the final being delivered at the end of June. Going over some other projects, there's some storm work up on 178. We're anticipated to have all construction activities completed by April 25th. So that is on its way. There were some weather delays. The State Route 46 and 43 intersection improvements. Utility relocations are going to be beginning this summer. So folks will start seeing some boots on the ground doing some construction out there with utility relocations. The project manager has reached out to the city regarding a presentation to the council. Unfortunately, the project manager is on vacation right now, but perhaps that meeting is scheduled for May 6th. I can circle back with a little bit more information on that one. The southbound 99 to westbound 58 connector ramp. As you know, this project entails the construction of the freeway to freeway connector for southbound 99 to westbound 58. The team is currently working towards the 30% PS&E milestone, which is scheduled for the end of this month. The Bakersfield Freeway connector, Route 58 to 99. We're still expecting completion in the fall of 2025. As you probably already know, all the facilities are open to traffic. It's 95% complete. Essentially just wrapping up some punch list items at this point. Old US 99 to White Lane, the rehab project. That one is has started plan establishment, and last update I had on that was that it was 98% complete. We're expecting it to be done next month. State Route 43 and 7th Standard Road roundabout. We're anticipating RTL December of 2025. Everything's moving forward on that one as expected. The State Route 43 Santa Fe roundabout, it is currently in PS&E. Target design completion is August of 2025. This project does require permits from the Bureau of Reclamation, but we're still anticipating going to construction in March of next year. Kern 58 CAP-M project. This is post miles 59 to 77. It's currently at 30% P&ED. We expect P&ED completion by winter of this year. Next one, California Aqueduct, the 166 bridge rehab project. The contract was awarded to Granite Construction. We do have a delay start on that one as we're waiting for Granite to be issued encroachment permits from DWR. Target start date for construction is July or August of this year, and we're hoping to be done by summer of next year. The Bakersfield 99 Rehab South project, the team is working towards the 30% PS&E milestone. We're scheduled to hit that milestone at the end of April. Maricopa Cap M project is in construction. All the road closures have been complete. Project is targeted to be completed this month as well. Pumpkin Center 3R rehab project is currently in PS&E and right-of-way. Anticipating right-of-way Cert 3 at the end of next month. There's a number of parcels that are in condemnation, and we've got some utility coordination still ongoing. RTL should be June of 2025. Weed Patch Highway rehab project is completed design last year, December 2024. We're advertising, the target for advertisement is this month with an estimated construction start of summer of this year. The Arvin Cap M, it will RTL summer of this year and advertise in fall. Kern 33 rehab. This one's about a 18-mile long rehab just north of McKittrick. Target construction to be completed by May of 2026. It's currently in winter suspension. Anticipated resume construction towards the end of this month. And that is the end of the updates from Caltrans.
Thank you. We heard you loud and clear. Worked out good.
Great. Thank you very much.
Any questions?
I will see you at the next meeting.
Okay.
Chair,
Thank
I have
you.
one.
We have
Could you
one
send me,
question.
this is Gilbert Reyna, could you send me some information regarding the funding for safe streets? Maybe a link that I can look into that?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you. Have a safe experience there on the side of the freeway.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Ms. Card, District 9.
Good evening. I'll start with the Kern County Pedestrian Safety Project, which replaced crosswalks and installed retroflective backplates on signal heads at 2 locations. First, Mojave at 14 and Business 58, and secondly, in Ridgecrest on 178 from French Avenue to Richmond Road. And it's expected, they report it's expected to complete construction by mid-April, so any day now. Secondly, the Tehachapi maintenance ribbon cutting. So Caltrans District 9 is hosting a ribbon cutting for its new Tehachapi maintenance station on May 6th in Tehachapi. The maintenance station is the newest maintenance facility in District 9 and will serve 2 maintenance teams, the Tehachapi crew and the guardrail crew. And the ribbon cutting will feature speakers from Caltrans, the CTC, Kern County supervisors, and the city of Tehachapi. Then there's a litter cleanup. District 9 is joining the city of Tehachapi for its annual litter cleanup on April 22nd, next week. The maintenance team from Tehachapi will participate, as well as District 9 employees from Bishop. This cleanup will be highlighted as part of the Clean California Community Days, which is happening April 19th through 26th. If any other communities would like to have their cleanup highlighted on the Clean California Community Days website, please contact the District 9 PIO Chief, Chris Andreessen. And project updates. There's updates for the 58 Edwards medium safety devices, construction to begin in May. Last meeting, I described the Kern County Lighting Replacements Project on State Route 58 and US 395. And it just got completed on April 10th. With lighting replacements being done, the work being done on 58 at the westbound Boron Avenue off-ramp, again on 58 at the westbound Tehachapi Boulevard on-ramp, 58 at the eastbound California City Boulevard on-ramp, and US 395 at the northbound on-ramp, off-ramp to State Route 178 East. The Mojave Barrier Repair.
On 14, just south of the southern junction with Business Route 58, the inside lane in both directions and median are closed 24 hours a day while crews repair concrete barriers and guardrail cushions. And the work is scheduled Tuesday through Friday from 7 to 5, and drivers might experience a brief delay. New traffic impacts, the Tehachapi Pass crack sealing on 58 between Broome Road and Woodford Tehachapi Road at exit 139. Crews will seal pavement cracks on the westbound lanes Tuesday through Thursday from 8 to 4. And there will be intermittent lane closures, and drivers again may experience brief delays. The Kern River Valley utility work on 178 West from Kelso Valley Road to Fay Ranch Road, utility crews will conduct pole maintenance on Wednesdays. So I'm assuming this was yesterday, so it should be done by now. And there was one-way traffic control. And finally, your OWP. District 9 compiled the comment matrix using comments from our staff, and this was emailed to District 6 in March, so last month. Are there any questions? No?
No questions?
Thank you.
Thank you. We're good. Thank you. Executive Director's Report.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and board members. I have a few items on this agenda. The California Transportation Commission is meeting May 15th and 16th in San Francisco. Current COG staff will not be attending that meeting, but we will be attending the June meeting, where we expect to have several items of interest. As a reminder, RSTP and CMAQ call for projects is out. It represents about $60 million available to our region, and it's posted on the Current COG website. As a reminder for you and your staff, applications are due July 17th. Over the past month, we've continued discussions about State Route 99 and 58. Shane mentioned 7th Standard and 43. We meet monthly on that. We also meet monthly on the 99, 58. Truck climbing lanes on State Route 58. There will be a presentation, Catherine, next month by District 9, including videos. Very interesting presentation. I encourage you, if you're interested in that. Some of you have already seen it, but this is a new and improved presentation. Very interesting, and there will be significant impacts. So it's something that over the next 2 or 3 years, we're going to make an effort to get the word out, not just to people in Kern County, but people from all over the country literally use that section of highway. We continue to hold meetings with Caltrans, Kern County, and the Antelope Valley East Kern Water District. We were scheduled to have a meeting a couple of days ago. It's been delayed for about a month, but we are still pursuing the right-of-way out there to connect Cal City and the North Gate of Edwards Air Force Base. And I will ask you, this is a little out of order, to go over your board folders now, because there's an item on the COG agenda that relates to something that's in your board folders. So in your board folders is a letter that I emailed all of you from Jay. If you haven't had a chance to look at the email, please quickly look at this before we get to the COG agenda, which is in about 5 or 6 minutes. Timeline covering April, May, and June. Progress report for projects of regional significance. And that's it for this agenda, subject to any of your questions, Mr. Chairman.
Any questions? Seeing none, we will adjourn that meeting and begin the next. Roll call is the same. Public comment rules are the same. Do we have any public comments? Seeing none. Consent agenda opportunity for public comment. Does any member wish to pull an item off for separate consideration? Seeing none. Take a vote, take a motion.
Motion on consent.
Roll call vote.
Couch,
Yes.
Gorman,
Yes.
Hawkins,
Yes.
Reyna,
Yes.
Bob Smith,
Yes.
Phil Smith,
Yes.
and Solario Ruiz.
Yes.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Mr. Schlosser, and welcome. Executive Director's Report.
Good evening again, Mr. Chairman and board members. Two relatively short items on this agenda. Actually, just one, because I moved up the board folders to that one. So Sarah Plank, our financial officer, and I attended the San Joaquin Regional Policy Conference in Merced last week. Some of the highlights, and I think Shane covered some of this, was the high-speed rail CEO was there. I've talked to him on the phone many times, but I got to talk to him in person for about 15 minutes. He also made a presentation. Another interesting presentation, and all this is available online, is the state treasurer of California, Fiona Ma, was there. She was part of a presentation that was also interesting. And I sat next to several other COG directors, including one from Sacramento, who I very rarely interact with, but got some good information that hopefully Bakersfield can use. And I already passed that along to Mr. Chairman Bob Smith. Subject to any questions, Mr. Chairman, that concludes my report.
Any questions for the director? Seeing none, any member statements?
Just one real quick.
Yes, Ms. Parr.
Just to remind everybody, May is bike month, so when we meet next month, we'll be right in the middle of it. So if anybody needs any assistance on any bike rodeos or any helmet giveaway day or anything, contact Bike Bakersfield or myself. Thank you. I'll bring some helmets. Whoever brings their bike will get a free helmet and light set. Also, you can put your bikes on the Get Bus, and you can do that first and last mile for the month. So hopefully you can get on your bikes and ride.
Thank you. That we are adjourned.